Alright, after tearing down the new Pura 70 Pro Plus, I quickly realized that its most compelling feature is actually the domestic, self-developed CMOS sensor, the biggest victim of the entire Pura 70 series. Well, it has to be Sony. And surprisingly enough, Huawei is now the most affordable flagship device on the market today. Now, while competitors are hiking up their prices, the Huawei Pura, which was $7,999 last year, has been slashed to $6,499 this year. It really feels like we're heading back to the days of a single dominant player. I finally managed to snag a Pura 90 Pro Max for a hands-on review and teardown. The orange sea colorway on this Pura 90 Pro Max really takes me back to the Sky Mirror days. Plus, I heard that if you type orange sea in the comments, an animation of the phone in that color pops up. Huawei really knows how to market their products. But the one I chose this time is Obsidian Black. On the surface, it looks like a very boring black, but in reality, there is more to this color than meets the eye. Hey, watch this. Let me shine a flashlight on it. Hey, see that? 4 pointed stars appear on the back cover. What a stoic, understated designer. As for the price, Huawei is likely the only flagship phone this year to actually lower its price. And compared to last year's top-tier Pura 80 Pro Plus, this generation is 2,500 yuan cheaper. The value for money is truly maxed out. Oh, heads up, the anti-reflective effect vanishes with a screen protector. To keep it, use a dedicated AR protector. As for features, I love the light-sensing borderless theme. Check this, long press the lock screen and it uses your camera in real time. It looks like you're holding a transparent bubble. Huawei really has some cool tricks up their sleeve. The gallery now includes a 3D motion photo feature. Just tap the 3D clip and AI automatically generates an animation. It's great for creating bullet time effects. The camera is upgraded with a 200 megapixel telephoto lens. Plus, the X-Magic selfie function suggests poses based on the scene. See, it generates a reference image right below. Oh, and it gets even crazier. Look at the top of the screen. It even generates a prompt for you, telling you exactly how to talk to your partner. This is honestly next level. Like I said, it's your own system, so you can do whatever you want with it. Okay, that's enough about the exterior for now. What about the internals? Let's get right to the teardown. After heating it and using alcohol to remove the back cover, I have to say, the back cover of this Pura 90 Pro Max is incredibly tough. Let me show you a close-up. Seriously, it was glued on so tight that it took me nearly 20 minutes to get it off. Once the back cover is removed, you can see it's made entirely of glass. And looking inside the camera deco, you can see that the entire piece is machined from a single block of metal, which is quite expensive to produce. Oh, and the cushioning foam, thermal pads and such on the back cover are all done with great attention to detail. You can always count on Huawei's build quality. Now, moving on to the device itself. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this internal structural design? The level of internal customization in Huawei phones is truly on par with Apple's, and I'd even go as far as to say it's higher. Just look at this spherical periscope lens module. It looks incredibly sci-fi. Why exactly does it stand out so much? We'll get into that as we take it apart. Hey guys! I found something cool. Look, the variable aperture can be adjusted manually using a magnet, which means the drive motor on the side is controlled by this magnetic module. Alright, let's start by removing the motherboard cover. Once removed and flipped to the back of the motherboard cover, you can see that most of it is covered in metal. The plastic sections feature a reinforced rib design, so there's no doubt about the overall structural integrity of the cover. Flipping to the front, you can see an integrated NFC coil on the right side, along with a flash, an ambient light sensor, a laser autofocus module, a second generation infrared camera, a rear microphone, and underneath this 80W wireless charging coil, which boasts an incredibly fast charging speed. Tell me, which other competitor out there has wireless charging speeds this fast? Okay, next, let's remove the camera module. You can see just by comparing it to my palm how massive this camera module is. First off, the main camera, which looks huge, is a 50 megapixel, 1.28-inch RYYB sensor that supports a 10-stop variable aperture. Since Huawei tightened its patent restrictions, it's become the only variable aperture in the smartphone industry. What's really impressive is that this main camera uses both an RYYB array to increase light intake and LOFIC technology to boost dynamic range. LOFIC technology essentially captures overflowing electrons using a small capacitor on the side, which prevents the image from being overexposed. The result of stacking these technologies is an incredibly high dynamic range. Highlights aren't blown out, and shadows don't lose detail. The periscope telephoto lens uses the same 1.28-inch RYYB sensor as the main camera, also manufactured by SmartSense, and it boasts a staggering 200 megapixels. Let's compare the actual imaging performance with the Oppo top-tier Find X9 Ultra we tested a few days ago. Even though both feature 1.28-inch 200 megapixel sensors, you can see that the Oppo's telephoto resolution is superior thanks to its optical zoom advantage.
It far surpasses the Pro Max camera specs among its rivals.
For light intake, at the same sensor size, this Huawei's RYYB sensor means the results. As for image brightness, Huawei is a bit brighter. I wonder, when using the telephoto lens, do you prioritize brightness or zoom range? Next, housed in the same camera module is a 40MP SmartSense SC5000CS RYYB ultra-wide sensor, paired with the second-gen Honghu camera we just discussed. Even more impressive is that this generation uses entirely domestic SmartSense sensors, and the Mate 90 Pro Max, arriving in the second half of the year, will likely feature Huawei's self-developed 11.2 5.3-inch CS5250 sensor. Current mobile tech has reached its absolute limit. Do you think Huawei could make a major comeback with super slow-mo next year? The mere thought is incredibly exciting, wouldn't you agree? See? Next, let's remove the motherboard. Once it's out, you can see that the area corresponding to the camera module features a hollowed-out frame, designed for direct contact VC liquid cooling. This setup prevents overheating and frame drops during extended video recording or photo sessions. For the SoC's heat generating area, there's also a cutout with a layer of graphene thermal film underneath to assist with heat dissipation. To make room for this camera module, the motherboard still features the classic L-shaped design seen in the Pura series. Looking at it from the side, it's a dual-layer stacked board. Next, prying open the shielding cover on the back, the larger chip is the phone's RAM and the smaller one is the storage. The specs roughly correspond to LPDDR5X and UFS 4.0. The green block you see here is the 9030S chip found inside the Pura 90 Pro Max. It proudly features that iconic classic 4-pillar architectural design. Any claims suggesting that this is just a modified 8000 series are completely false. The 9030S and the 30 Pro were actually built with entirely different design goals in mind. I have provided a comparison chart right here, so please feel free to pause the video to take a closer look. Simply put, the 30 Pro CPU and GPU, that is its performance, will be stronger, while the 30S has its image, AI, and ISP pipeline completely maxed out. They've overhauled it, making both the photography and video algorithms significantly better. In other words, Huawei has customized a chip specifically for imaging. I have to say, when you have your own chips, you have free reign. Plus, with the chip being self-developed and controlled, costs naturally drop significantly. Moving on to the top speaker, it still features that classic slanted design, so I have verified this supply. It is the Gore-Tex 0905, which features a specialized anti-leak design. Flagship devices are clearly built in a different way. Next, let us take a look at the bottom speaker. It is the exact same AAC 11/16S unit that we saw in the Pura 80 Pro. Just like the previous generation, it uses an open cavity, letting the chassis act as a resonance chamber. This does result in a noticeable amount of chassis resonance. Is that something that would actually bother you? The metal subboard cover itself is quite solid. Next, let's remove the daughter board. Compared to the vertical SIM tray of the previous generation, this one has been switched to a horizontal layout. A horizontal tray frees up more vertical space for the battery. Plus, the Pura 90 series supports eSIM, so some of you guys can stop going on about how advanced Apple is. Moving on, after removing the daughter board, the wired charging power here is 100W. The motor removed from the bottom right is an 8282 spec. Actually, the haptic feedback is similar to Huawei's previous 959 motor. It's about the same size. The thickness of this 8282 has been custom thickened to 4.3mm. It's a pity about the port's transfer speed though. It only supports USB 2.0, which is a bit of a step backward compared to the previous generation's USB 3.1 Gen 1. If you're a Huawei user who frequently transfers large files, you might want to look at the previous Pura 80 series instead. Phones sourced from Zhongkao all undergo multiple rounds of official quality inspection, so the quality is guaranteed. What about the microphone at the bottom? I noticed it's slanted too. Any acoustic engineers out there who can explain why? Okay, and finally we have this 6000 mAh large battery. Some users might say, what's so big about a 6000 mAh battery? You should realize that this 6000 mAh battery is powered by the latest Harmony OS 6 operating system. How does that experience compare to what you get on Android? If you are currently using it, please let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Manufactured by DZ, its unique single-cell, dual-interface design allows for significantly faster charging and a much longer battery life. It is now time to reassemble the device. After tearing this down, I see why rivals hike prices by $500 or $1,500 while Huawei lowers theirs. Because Huawei's self-developed chips, memory, and CMOS sensors allow them to slash hundreds of dollars in hardware costs from suppliers like Sony, Qualcomm, and Samsung, they can pass more of that value on to consumers. This isn't just a breakthrough in sensor technology, it's a complete, from scratch comeback for China's core mobile imaging hardware. Huawei phones may not necessarily offer the best user experience, but they are truly what our mobile industry needs most right now. Last year's 80 series is a steal. The Pura 80 Ultra is now 4,400 yuan on Zhongzhong, down from 10,000. It features new Kunlun glass with an anti-reflective layer. The screen looks deeper than an iPhone's, like the Honor Magic V3's diamond black display, truly premium.